Shabbat Shalom, everybody. We have people here from now the southern Texas, Saraiz from Texas. We have Mauricio from El Salvador. We have Moshe from Uganda. And
who's the extra Brian?
We have Baruch.
Yeah, but it's a Brian too.
We have a Brian and a Baruch. So welcome everybody to this part of our service where we discuss the message. It was such an exciting message for me to write, and so much of what it says is going on in the world right now. We're living in absolute chaos. The world is going crazier and crazier. So do we have some comments on what I spoke about this morning?
Yep.
Yep. Yay, Miriam.
I love the whole idea of, chaos being made into order. Like, I see that even in my own life, that as I started to get closer to God, or even know that there is a God, my room became cleaner. Like I didn't connect it logically, just the
Right.
desire for order in my own house.
Right.
I used to live like in this sort of hippie way. I used to live on the floor with my bed and like the sort of hippie days, and I would live in co-ops. This group with my place at my sister's place. I just slept in the room, and all my clothes were in a big pile. And slowly, that's thank God. But it's even in our own lives. And what I find what's happening today in the world is that people don't call it chaos. What we see as chaos, they call freedom.
Right.
Like even the whole thing with, homosexuality and transgender, it's like that's freedom. Now, gender is fluidity, what they call gender fluidity. How is that freedom? It's like anything with boundaries is considered losing our freedom, when it's just the opposite.
Right.
Even you're safe when you have loving boundaries. Everything has when you grow a plant, a pumpkin doesn't grow into a turkey or something. I mean,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
anyway,
we
I
see
love
that
that
even,
thing.
even with the concept of free love that came out in the 60s, that wasn't freedom for the woman.
No.
They thought it was freedom, but it opened a Pandora's box of a lot of other problems in the life of the family, the breakdown of the family unit, the rise in abortion, killing of innocent babies. It really opens up these Pandora's boxes that have no end when it comes to, and it's not freedom at all. It's
No.
Yeah.
It's like I got an email. I correspond regularly from an old friend who lives in Toronto. We email each other, and her parents. Anyway, she's very. I think she was born in Israel, or her mother or father, whatever. But she, she was writing to me about Israel and how horrible things are there, and she started to blame it in their email on Trump and his negative, something about how he's put hate into people when he criticizes different groups and his hate. And in some way, she's connecting that and his type. Even she compared Netanyahu now to the same type as Trump. And instead of, she talks about that kind of thing, she's totally, it was just so, what can I say to that if she doesn't believe in God? Like, there's chaos in the world.
Yeah.
And has nothing to do with Netanyahu or Trump. If anything, Trump is the greatest supporter of Israel. And anyway, but people are making up, down, and down, up, and it's just very scary. Just one thing I wanted, when you talk, the tohu v'bohu, I talked to you the other day about it. What does it mean God created, like in the beginning, he created order out of chaos? Didn't God create everything? What does that mean? What chaos was there? Like before he created, like what does that mean?
How could I know the answer to that?
No, but what do you think it means? Like,
Well, there were different understandings by different rabbis, by the prophets, when it talks about confusion, about destruction, about ruin. It was, I don't know, maybe the gases. I don't know what that
no. I'm not trying to
scientific
put
level.
you like not
I don't
trying to
know. I
make.
don't have an answer to that, but all I know, he didn't create it out of nothing. There was something there. It's like, how do we understand a God who has no beginning and no end? There's too many things we can't understand.
No, but one of the things
What
that
would help you? What would help you in your life to understand that aspect?
no, it's not. It's not just you don't understand why I'm asking that.
Okay,
Because
why
to
are you
me,
asking? That's a good question.
God is the only God who has created out of nothing, which is what makes him God. Other gods, they create, they say anyway, they'll say that
But according to the
they,
Torah, there was not nothing. There always was something. He was always there from the
I
beginning.
thought the meaning of something I anyway, maybe I learned wrong, but I understand that he did create, he's the only God who could create out of nothing. And it doesn't matter. I
There
don't want
are
to
no
make it
other gods.
philosophical, but that's the way I thought it meant.
Yeah, well, but there are no other gods who could create anything, so he's the only one.
No, I understand that, but
Yeah.
other religions talk differently. Anyway, it
What's
doesn't
your
matter. We can
perspective
argue about that. I
Mauricio,
just did understand that God created out of nothing.
what's your perspective on that, Mauricio?
Okay. First, good message, Peggy. I love the way you expose the times, the Moedim, because yes, in that perspective, no matter if it's a period of time or one day or a bunch of different years, well, God create time.
Right.
Okay, so and it's interesting that when he create time, he established the Shabbat. So,
Right.
which is the main Moedim. Okay.
Right.
But regarding the what Miriam was talking, the expression tohu vabohu, yeah, that could be understood as chaos, but honestly, the point is that the chaos is something that doesn't have any form, doesn't have any, for example, utility. There is no, is, for example, you take a clay, okay, on your hand. Okay, when you take the clay and it's on your head, there is nothing like a pot or something, a glass to drink or whatever. But the point is that you have at that moment only the clay is like the tohu vabohu. Okay, there is an element that doesn't have any form, so there is no purpose on them, and also there is no value, and there is no anything that could be used, that clay on your hands,
But it still exists.
but it still exists. Yes.
Yeah.
So it has the potential, okay, but at that moment is a tohu vabohu. Then God take this clay and he started to give form to every element that was around, okay, that he already created.
Amazing.
Okay.
No, but that's
So,
the point. He already created.
yeah, he created before, but you know, there is a question
That's all I meant, by
Job.
the way.
Yeah, but Job says, where were you when I create this and create that? And you know, so that kind of question is not to give an answer, because there is
Right.
not an answer, but just let us think that we are limited. Okay,
Right.
there is situations and experiences and in history that goes beyond us.
Right.
Okay.
That
For
is important.
example, for a cell, okay, inside of our body, we are the universe.
Right.
Okay.
And each cell is a
So
universe.
it's relative. Yeah. We are just an universe for a cell. Then a dog, for example, or animals that their universe is 60 kilometers around from where they born. Okay.
Right.
And then we can go for more sophisticated creations. Okay. So the universe is expanded to them. But it's obvious that before time, that before any um any matter, any element, any anything, okay, God was there, okay, because he doesn't have any end and nor principle, okay, he
No
exists,
beginning.
he
Yeah.
just exists,
Which
okay?
can, the idea can
which
blow your mind.
which is in our mind and in our world we don't comprehend at all, okay?
Impossible.
So but the tohu babohu really is that this is something that goes beyond us. He took the man from also the clay, okay? We were tohu babohu as well.
Right.
He prepared us a home, okay? Because if he wouldn't create the explosions, the matter, the oxygen, all these elements, our lives could not exist, okay? And that's, for example, a problem right now when they are trying to explore Mars, for example. So God did not create Mars for us, okay?
Right.
It is not a living place for us. Earth is the place he wanted to prepare us, okay?
Right.
Even though you know that when you go to the space, okay, and you are more than, and I can remember right now how many days, but your body, physical body, start to feel that there is something that is not good for you at the space. So when you return back to Earth, then gravity starts to makes problems to you in your back, in your organs, etc. Because without gravity, there is a problem for us. Okay, you know, but returning to the clay, God said, okay, I have a tohu babohu, then I will blow life, okay? And then this clay becomes something good, okay?
Amazing. Amazing.
So that's is the very same idea about tohu babohu before.
Mhm.
Is God takes the element and then he said, okay, right now on this planet that doesn't have any form, okay, for example, if you go to Jupiter right now or to Uranus, those places is not possible life right now, are two storms that we never can understand the winds. So it's a high speed, on high speed, or very frozen places, a lot of gas. So life cannot be possible on those places, at least as we know life. Okay. So he take that tohu babohu, and right now this is the something very important to all of us. Sometimes our lives is like tohu babohu, but God can see the future, our potential. Okay, he doesn't look, oh, this is just clay. No, he's looking that we are better than a clay,
Yeah.
so we can become something good. And this is very important because he creates something good that really means that is useful, okay? Because it's not perfection, okay? He didn't say, oh, and God saw that what he created was perfect. No, he saw that it was good, okay? And when he says it's good, it's relative, okay? Not perfection, but there is something that starts to, for example, about perfection is, okay, we have lions and we have a sheep, okay? Perfection. The lion doesn't eat sheep, okay? And so, but in that perfection, then we have a tohu babohu again, because if there is no sheep eaten by a lion, then all the grass will finish on the earth, and then we cannot have capacity, for example, to have oxygen because there are not grass, there are not trees, you know. Right. So perfection really means tohu babohu, chaos, okay? But something is good. The lion eat the sheep, okay? The sheep eat the grass. There is a balance,
Right.
okay?
We need a balance.
So that is something that I really love about this portion, because you know the question is, probably sometimes we feel like we are a tohu babohu, okay? We are a chaos, we're like that way, okay? But honestly, God wants that we I would say we transform, but it's not like you know, like the Occidental Western mentality. No, this is like energy, like you know, this week, you know, we were with some entrepreneurs you know, we were talking about the importance about to be elastic with laws. The law is an imposition, whether it is good or not, or convenient or not. There is a legislation, and we must have to comply. Okay, we need to fulfill that laws. Right. And the problem is when we start to say, oh no, we are very rigid, we are very, you know, I don't want to accept that, and that creates a chaos, because and we suffer more, okay? Because even though I am agree or not agree, the law will be there, okay? So I need to adjust my mentality in order to comply with the laws. And you know, and this is something about also the creation. God puts a lot of different laws, okay, to live. But the law is not something good or bad. The laws permits, allow us to live in a very good, how can I say, in a very good state, okay? For example, gravity. If there's no gravity, then we could have problems, okay? Our planet just go very far away from the sun, and then we freeze, or go closer to the sun, and then we burn, for example. So there is a law that God creates, okay, and says, okay, this is your limit. For example, to the sea. Okay, this is your limit. So when we understand that there is a lot of laws that God put in this world, just that our life could be possible, this is the very same with the laws he commanded us in the Torah. Okay, so do not kill, for example. You know, yesterday I was reading today in the morning that yesterday Israel attacked to Iran.
Right.
Okay. They went to destroy all the radars. Okay, for Iran. Okay, all the Russian radars. But you know, it's incredible about Iran attacked Israel to kill people,
Right. Innocent.
innocent people. Okay, but Israel returning back, okay, to destroy, not life. Okay, but to send a message. Hey, do you think you are protected? Okay, so you are not. Okay, and this is so amazing, because when I was hearing the prophecy of Isaiah today, the Haftarah portion, it came to my mind, okay, this attack, okay, because it says, okay, you will go for places that you never thought you could be, okay, so it was like, oh, this is like a fulfillment of this prophecy, okay. And also, all your enemies will be like, oh, where from where? Okay, so and so this is very important, because God put us some restrictions to us. Okay, hey, do not rejoice for kill people, for example.
Right.
Okay, and it's one of the main commandments. Okay, then also you will love your neighbor, even though your neighbor wants to kill you. Okay, so and I think these laws allow us to live in balance. Okay,
Mhm.
and so we decide whether if we want to live in the chaos, or we want to have a productive and very life, around us. So
Yeah.
that is the idea about tohu vabohu.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, it's interesting because when Yannette was reading the Haftorah portion, it says, she said, God will go forth as a mighty man. He will stir up his fury like a man of war and scream like he will come like a shrieking woman, almost like a woman in labor. He will shriek. And right now, you know, I love these pictures in the scriptures, because one of the things that are happening and one of the weapons of war is the rape of the women. And I've been listening to some of the interviews by women who've had that horrible experience. And at the same level, we're raping the planet, you know, who's called Mother Earth by many people. And this planet is being ravaged right now, ravaged. And when I watched some of the videos of the hurricane that hit in the south of the United States, if you watch the tornadoes, the hurricanes and the tornadoes, it's almost like you could hear a shrieking. It sounded like a woman shrieking with anger. It's like God was, you know, people are saying, oh, this is the environment, it's environmental problems. Yes, it is. These are big environmental problems, but created by us. We are raping our planet. there's enough room, enough food to feed everybody and to have everybody live on this planet. There's so many vast areas that are not being used that could be made into new cities and villages and tribes, and people can live on this planet. But mankind is so bent on destruction right now that they can't see. They're living in tohu vavohu, and even in our own families, our own children are turning against God, and we say, sometimes it feels so overwhelming. Sometimes I think I feel like a drop of water in the ocean, and yet this little drop of water in the ocean, like I have to keep reminding myself that one little match can light a whole room, one small candle. So I think that, what we're teaching is so important, because we want people to come back to God and his Torah, but we're not asking them to come back to a religion. And that's what people can't understand, because they're so fixed in the box of religion. And here talked about Eve when she was speaking to the serpent, how both of them added to God's words. They added an extra thing. And God is telling us, don't add to my words. Don't put words in my mouth. I remember how Rabbi would get so upset if someone put words in his mouth. Don't speak for me. I don't need defending. It's like, and we always are trying to defend God. So there's so much, even right at this very beginning. And I pray, we here are a nation. We are people from so many nations around the world, different languages, different understandings, but God is bringing us together as a community, even if it's just online. And sometimes I'm grateful for that, because we're less of a target. And these coming days, there's going to be a target. It's like sometimes the idea keeps me up at night, and I have to remember, okay, God, you said do not fear. And I think we're going to be tested for that. But, we're going to be beginning again with Bereshit. Tuesday night, Mauricio, I think you're starting this coming week. And you're okay to do Bereshit again? Because we're doing it after. I think it'll be okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
I think that there is something important for this period of studies, that I would like that we can talk about the portion, but also it's important to know how to apply this in our lives.
the key.
So
Without it,
that's
there's exactly, because religion just gives you a bunch of rules and regulations, but it almost sets us aside from the actual application of a moral code by which we live. You could be very religious but not have any moral code. You can steal from others, or cheat others in business, and that's not what God wants from us.
Or put more passion into. I remember when I was studying some years ago, and there were Christians arguing. They said everything that says in the Bible is literal. So a week was created in 7 days, and that 6 days and 7th day, and that was it. And no, like without applying, like what is the difference whether it's 7 million years, each week was 1 million years, or it's the principle and how we apply all of this to our lives.
Right.
So important.
And so we need to continue. I'll be doing on Wednesday night in English, and thank you, Mauricio, for continuing to do it in Spanish.
It starts this week, right?
It starts this coming week.
Right. Okay.
And even if we're just a few people, the Torah is a mountain. It's an ocean of wisdom, an ocean of truth that we need more than ever. So I'm looking forward to continuing this coming week. And I hope everybody had a good season of holidays, I know it's difficult for you, Mauricio, because you're living in a country that doesn't observe it in any way. You're really like a drop in an ocean. I don't know, did you do a little sukkah or something that you could go into on Sukkot?
not really. We were here.
Yeah, you have your sukkah, yes.
So, but the point is about the meanings, because
Exactly.
God is protecting us. God, we are temporary.
Yes.
You know, so on Simchat Torah, you know, we have to rejoice even though there is some bad news on around us.
Yes.
For example, you know, I was wondering, why did you choose God, or why did you allow that on Simchat Torah Hamas could enter to Israel to kill a lot of people? I mean, it was a very joyful time, and then we discover we are temporaries. You know, it's so it really it's about, you know, that we need to sometimes to find out a meanings. Okay. And this is something I really love about my wife, because she's the kind of person that she needs to solve situations with people. Okay, she's not the one that I will forget what happened.
Right.
No, she needs to face people and ask, why did you do that? And
Good.
I want to solve what happened. Okay,
Right.
and this has helped me a lot. Okay, because I'm the kind of person who are very practical. You know, so I have a lot of things sometimes unsolved. Okay, because it's easier for me just to forget what happened instead to face and get to a conclusion. Okay.
Right. Right.
And this is very easy for men, especially. Okay, because we as men, we are very practical. Okay, so we say, doesn't care. Okay, but you know, from the other side, the woman thinks completely different, and that's the balance.
That's why the serpent tempted the woman and not the man. Because the
Yeah.
man wouldn't have been interested. I don't need to be like the gods. I have everything. I'm I'm perfect in my garden.
And you know, that is something interesting, because the serpent really goes to the feelings, okay, instead to go to the logic.
Right.
Okay, the main is very easy. God says not to eat, period. Okay,
Finished. Yeah.
finish, that's it. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you want this? No, God said not to eat that. Okay, that is the man. Woman is, oh, you know, this look very delicious, and you know there is a secret on this fruit. By the way, it's not an apple. Okay, that's an idea
Yes.
of people. We don't know exactly it was a mango or kiwi. I don't know.
Or a
So,
pomegranate. Yeah, exactly.
yeah, we don't know exactly.
Yeah.
Uh, but you know, goes to the ear to the woman.
Mhm.
Okay, and then goes to the eyes to the man.
Mhm.
So that's probably why they said, because the man goes to the eyes, woman use makeups. Okay.
Yeah.
And because the woman loves what they hear,
Yeah.
the man lies. Mm.
Yeah.
So, but you know, the point is that Hal, yes, he create the serpent. Okay, he allowed to have a serpent there, and it's interesting that how can be possible that a serpent could talk. Okay,
Yeah.
because you know, so in the very first thing that I never realized that really nor Chava nor Adam question themselves. Is a serpent talking to us? Okay. So, I mean, If a dog comes and say, hello, Mauricio, the very first thing I will wonder is, hey, how could be that possible, right?
But the funny thing is, even with the donkey who spoke to Bilam, he didn't
Yeah,
either.
yeah, he doesn't matter. So,
Funny.
you
It's just,
know, so that is something interesting, okay? But you know, so Bereshit has a lot of stories that are not just stories,
yeah,
okay? That we need to go more deep. Okay?
right.
Um,
But you
for
know,
example,
yeah,
God, it says at the beginning, let's do, okay? It's like, it's more than one God, for example. That is something of the Christian. They say, oh, there is talking God Father, is talking God Son, and Holy Spirit at the very same time. And that's
right,
why the three of them are having a conversation between them. Okay?
right.
That is very excellent theory. But the point is that no, it's God talking to himself as the king of the universe, okay, to what he represents, okay. For example, a king, okay, when he goes for a place to battle against another nation, another kingdom, he says, we will attack you, but he's only talking himself alone, okay.
Right.
But we as nation, we will attack you. So there are a lot of meanings that we can go deeper, and that is why it's so important to you know, to gather and to study
Yes.
and, you know, to grow up
Yes.
together.
By the way, about what you said about Simchat Torah, remember the last holiday, the last day of the holiday is Shmini Atzeret. That's in the Torah. Simchat Torah is added by the rabbis. It wasn't a day, and I think maybe it's a way of God saying, listen, don't add to my word. You know, we do that all the time. Eve did it, the serpent did it right at the very beginning. And because we, you know, we want more power than God, we want to replace God.
Actually,
And
that's really interesting. That, I mean, just the thought, but that they invaded on a day that is put out to the world as being a holiday, but it's not a biblical.
it's not,
Interesting. Yeah.
it's not.
One
And
thing in the part of the liturgy, it talks about man has put a soul into all living things. What is it? Do you know what the word is? Like the shama? Like what's it mean? Like a soul in all? Because you know sometimes um, uh, people who've gone on
which
drugs.
verse is it? Where is it, Mary?
I forget in one
It's
of
in our liturgy?
in our liturgy.
Okay. You don't know where?
I don't remember, but I mean the words. My point is that not only on drugs, but people who've taken drugs have sometimes experienced. Remember in the days when people were taking lots of LSD, they saw life like in everything, as if everything had a kind of spirit, of the atoms moving and all that. So I just wondering in what sense the word soul is, because
Well,
I
I'd
remember.
like you to find which of the
Yeah,
pages.
I'll find it
Yeah.
out. Also because like I know people who have dogs and um people have told them, especially Christians, but anybody have said, well, dogs don't have a soul. And they got very, very upset because to them a dog has a soul, has emotions, you know. So I just wanted to know what you and
The
Maurice.
nefesh, you know, the nefesh is the he God, to everything that we can see around us, has something from God, because God created them.
Right.
And to have a life, he put his life,
His
okay,
breath.
his breath over there.
Right.
That is his nefesh. That is why we become nefesh. Okay. Prior, we have developed soul, I would say, we have a nefesh. When God allow us to born, and then our nostrils are open, then we receive nefesh. Okay, we receive life. That is why the dog moves, for example. That's why you can see a tree that produce vegetables or produce fruits or whatever. And this is something that sustain life. Okay, that is very it is is life. It is just that have movement. Okay, so that is good. Okay, because if we don't have nefesh, we cannot have neshama. Okay, the neshama is the soul. Okay, that not only have nefesh. Okay, for example, by the nefesh, I am hungry. I need to go to have something to eat. Okay, by the nefesh, I have to sleep because it's something that all in the nature has to sleep. Okay, to rest. And for the nefesh, I need to drink. So it's something that is in us, in that you don't even think. For example, why your lungs are breathing or your heart is pumping. You don't think to have to give an order to your heart, hey, pump today or stop right now. No. By the nefesh, those things are happening. Okay, but then God put something different in us. Okay, which is the ruach. That is intellect. Okay,
Consciousness of
conscience. Yeah, consciousness. So, and it's the only one animal or creation that God put that kind of I can't remember the word, but that God decides to put this premium function, okay, to have ruach, and then the ruach is something that yes is an intellect and is good, but the problem is when there is too much intellect in us, then we forgot that we are also a beings of nefesh. Okay, then you start to say, oh, I will not eat because it's not good to eat. For example, I don't know, I don't know if you have seen, for example, in India, there are people that they say, oh, I don't know how many years of not eating, for example, and so only by the sun I am living.
Amazing.
Except when nobody's looking.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, except when nobody looking, like Paro. Okay, he went to the river in the morning. Okay, so and that is a problem because then you become like a robot. Okay, or why you are crying when your mom or your dad died, for example. You know where they are right now, but you need to take away your feelings and everything is intellect. Okay, so then you have a kid, and probably a kid needs that you hug them. Oh, that is not something good for me because I am very intellected, and those kind of things are very superfluous for me. Okay, so that is the problem. There is no balance. So the neshama makes this balance between intellect ruach and nefesh animal. Okay, and that is the balance the God wants that we live. Okay, for example, okay, I will. Okay, for example, if I have a nefesh, I will see a lot of sharks in a pool, and I want to swim around them. Okay, that is something that you don't think. Okay, but I want to show everybody I swim with the sharks. Okay, and there's a, believe me or not, there is a lot of persons
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
they do.
that
They
have
forget.
this adrenaline,
Yeah.
but it's nefesh really very developed. Okay, and on the other hand, okay, you can say, oh no, don't go to swim, you are not amphibious. Okay, so you are not a fish, you are animal. So they do not enjoy also the creation of God. So the point is to have balance, and this is that God says, oh, and God looked and it was good. Okay, balance. So
Right.
and you know, it's easy to say, but to take this balance to the practical life is very hard.
Yeah.
Okay.
One thing you said is about when the baby first breathes, that's when the ruach enters. But what about then? What about the understanding that life begins at conception? When we're conceived, there's already, we are created in the image of God. Otherwise, what that does, if you say life is only when they first take a breath, then the baby can be killed in the womb right up to
No,
the
not
the
really,
end.
because you know, okay, when at the moment that two cells come
Unite,
together,
right,
unite, okay, at that very specific moments, life starts.
right,
Okay,
right.
the nefesh, but that nefesh really doesn't have conscience, but doesn't mean that it's not alive. I don't
Yeah,
know if
because
you
they
get
say,
that.
because they say a baby, a child born will recognize the voice of the mother because it's heard it. It already
Yeah,
has the capacity to hear.
yeah, it
Ru-
has the capacity to hear,
Yeah.
but he is not conscious in the sense that have the capability to take decisions by their own.
No,
No, right now it's only uh, it's like, you know, movements or life
more
that can
instinct,
perceive
more instinct.
instinct.
Yeah,
Yeah, he starts to develop his organs.
right,
So they receive life around, but and by the mother. That is the way that God is preparing this child to understand his word. Okay, he doesn't know really that the word is mom's womb. Okay,
right, right,
but right now God is preparing the baby to get out and understand the word. Oh, I'm not longer in mommy's, womb. So but for that happens, God allows to hear. God allows that they have some movements, for example, or to feel in some way.
right,
Okay,
right.
so but that doesn't mean that the baby doesn't have really life. No, he's a being completely different
Right.
in another life in the mom's womb.
Boom.
That's
Right. Exactly.
yeah,
But the people who are against, a lot of people who are pro-abortion don't believe in God, so they're not thinking of a soul.
Exactly.
So whether you kill it, the baby at 2 months or 8 months, I mean, really, it doesn't say anything because life is life, and what's in it, embedded in that life, is the spirit of God. But they don't believe. A lot of them don't believe that anyway.
Right.
So it's life, and I think that's,
Yeah.
they don't
Exactly.
care when the spirit of God comes in.
you,
Most
you know, there is a saying that feminists exist until they find the love of their lives, for
Yeah.
example.
Yeah.
the person who are pro-abortion, they are until the moment they have a baby. Okay. When they have a baby, they say, "Oh, what I was thinking." Okay.
Yeah.
And the persons who doesn't believe in God, they come to believe in God when they have very close experience to death. Okay. Or you know, or when there is something that they need, they don't have the capability to handle the situation.
Yeah. Well, there's exceptions to those two rules. Yeah. So anyway, for those who are watching this video or with this discussion from the outside, I do invite you to comment and enjoy and join us, even if you want to join us in Spanish on Tuesday nights and Wednesday nights in English. Let us know. I'm going to be sending out an email this week introducing the courses again, because I think more than ever it is so important, and we need to pray as a community that God would open the eyes of our people. We want to keep the balance of righteous people on earth so that he doesn't come and destroy it like he did Sodom and Gomorrah. So we want to open the eyes of, we can't open them, but we pray that God would open our eyes. And we really need to be a people of prayer and a people of, as you said with your wife, and I really like that. I'm exactly the same. I want to make sure that if it's sometimes I drive people crazy because I want them to resolve issues, and I think it's so important to face things and to resolve them. Otherwise, you are burdened by the past. And God doesn't want that from us. He wants us to live a life of upward spiral. So thank you, everybody. I wished you a Shabbat Shalom.
Thank
And
you for a beautiful message.
yes, thank you. Oh, Rhonda, there you
Hi,
are.
Rhonda.
How is
Hi,
David
Rhonda.
doing? David had a attack.
Yeah, how?
It wasn't really an attack. He was bleeding, and he did last week too. And we went to make sure there wasn't any infection or anything.
Okay.
And they're waiting for the results of the lab work. And the doctor said that he needs to see the urologist and that he would do further testing.
Okay. Well, we'll keep David in prayer. And that's it. Does anyone have any last moment comments before we say goodbye for the day and wish everybody a wonderful rest of Shabbat Shalom? Because here it's a beautiful day. In Uganda, you must be around midnight. No, it's what, 7 hours ahead or more, 12 hours ahead maybe. And Mauricio, and soon, I think next month, we're going to turn the clocks. We're going to change the clocks again. We fall back 1 hour. So it's 9:15 in Uganda, 9:18 in Uganda. Yeah, so it's 7 hours ahead. And we're still enjoying a beautiful day. And I don't know. So right now in El Salvador, you're 2 hours, right? What time is it now? You're noon, 12:15. Yeah. So when we turn the clocks back, it'll only be an hour difference. I don't know if that'll be okay for you, or you want to change the time of your class, you'll let me know, because I got to announce it. So we'll continue at 8 o'clock, I guess, if that's good for you. Perfect. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. And we wish you a wonderful day, and stay joyful in God. Bye, Baruch.
Bye.
Bye,
Shabbat
Sally.
shalom.
Bye, Isabel.
Bye. Shalom.
Bye.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat
Shalom.
Shalom.
Shabbat